Good afternoon, Sports Insanity Network fans. It's Mark, the old ops guy Halpern, on the Sports Insanity Network, along with the one and only PIC, Danny Boyd, Vice President Danny Boyd Reginald. Danny, how you doing this afternoon?
Okay. Knicks win another one.
It's win another one, and that's what this is. The Six Man Up is our New York Knicks podcast slash basketball podcast.
Yeah.
So before we get into it, let's just say, so we all know, the Knicks only had two games, so we're going to talk a little bit more about each game and get into a little bit about more. And then we'll also have some interesting news afterwards. So don't think we're just talking two games and leaving. Stay around, folks. So the Knicks had two games. We're going to start off with the first one, which was an absolute heartbeater down to the end. The Knicks
Yeah.
beat the Philadelphia 76ers 112 to 109. Game high by the usual suspect, Jalen Brunson, followed by OG Anunoby, and then a little bit of everybody. The Knicks ended up making this game a little bit tighter than it should have been. By the third quarter, by the end of the third quarter, they were up a good 10 points. But then Philadelphia came back. And then the Knicks played some good defense. And then they came back again. And then Landry Shamet, of everybody, hits that clutch three.
Mhm.
And that was clutchy, clutch, clutch. That was needed. Defense was very good. Dan, this game against the 76ers showed a lot more than what analysts are actually describing.
It was a back and forth affair. I love that the Knicks, and look, obviously the fact that it came down to the wire is the part that scared me the most. And again, n not necessarily in love with that, but the fact that the Knicks were able to fend off after, look, they went on a 21-7 run. Um, in to open the quarter. Um, and of course the crowd's going all crazy. It was like Madison Square Garden South in Philly, So that was I was pretty wild. But then of course the Sixers came back, led by Joel Embiid, who's just he's been tremendous of late. Um,
Yeah.
and it became a tight one. But like you said, late defense down the stretch. And big shots by Landry Shamet. Again, and Nobi coming up big as well. Like they were able to find a way to victory, which is what was the most important one to have. And look, after you beat the Nets by a trillion points, you know, the Knicks needed a road victory like this. They hadn't beat the Sixers all year. Um, and they needed a victory like this to sort of because the narrative has been, oh well, the Knicks, they beat the Nets. You should beat the Nets, right?
Right.
It's an easy cakewalk victory. Well, the Sixers are actually good, and they're not a cakewalk. They're actually creeping up on the standings to the Knicks. So the fact that the Knicks were able to get a road victory and sort of quiet those critics a bit is pretty nice.
Was nice. And couple of notations on this game. Free throw shooting. The Knicks were 15 of 27 for 56%.
Yeah.
And 56% from free throws. And it's not like Mitchell Robinson went up for 50 of them. He went up for zero. This
Yeah.
was just a combination. Josh Hart went 1 for 5, one for twos, 3 for 5s. It adds
Yeah.
up. And you
Brunson mi-
can't be
Brunson
giving
missed
away
two.
points.
Brunson missed two at the end that would have iced the game, and it put the Knicks in a situation that was pretty scary. Luckily, the Knicks were able to steal the ball from Embiid at the end, to
Right,
capture the win. But
right. But
that could have been really disastrous if they had attempted a three, which the Sixers were definitely going to try to in that at
oh
that.
yeah. And but you can't be giving away these points. These are free throws.
Mhm.
Dan and I have discussed this, whether it's been on podcasts, when we've been live, or when we've been in articles. The Knicks cannot afford to give away 12 free points a game.
Yeah.
Now, from the 3-point stance, they went 15 of 44 for 34%. That is okay.
Hmm.
Better than it's a third, 33% and better. I'm okay with. Brunson having the big night, 6 of 12. The problem I have is when a player goes 1 for 9 for 3-point land, at what point do you stop it from getting there? Mikal Bridges, I love the guy. I think he's electric. He's
Yeah.
on the floor. He's dynamite. But when you're 1 from 9 from the 3-point range, when you're 1 from 5, stop.
Yeah.
It's not going to make your numbers any better. Mind you, Josh Hart was 1 from 3. Towns, who only really puts up 2 a game, I'm not going to focus there. And Anobi. And then Shamet, who did have the big one down at the end, was 3 for 7. And then Deuce McBride was 1 for 8. There has to be a stance where you have to say at a certain point, forget about the three ball, take shots you can make.
Yeah, I think a lot of it was also, look, they're trying to extend the lead. They're trying to do anything to look. If you have open shots, you have open shots. You're not going to tell someone that's wide open from three-pointer to not shoot a three. Like, it's not going to happen. Like, if you have a good shot, take it. Um, and look, maybe the two-pointer, finding a way just to get a bucket is probably the safer thing to do. But, look, you're trying to make an impact in the game. So I don't necessarily blame the Knicks for attempting, but yeah, I mean, I'm also with you that like if you don't have the hot hand but beyond the arc, like what are you doing? Like just you know settle for a mid-range jump shot, or if you have space and you can drive into the lane, do that. Again,
Draw a foul if you have to.
yeah, safer, but you're also trying to get points. So it,
Yeah,
one of those things.
exactly. And definitely one category that has been one of the Knicks' best is rebounding, as yet
Yeah.
again, Josh Hart
Mm,
put up 13 rebounds,
rebound.
Mitchell Robinson 10,
Mm,
Cat 6, Anobi 7, Anubi. And then even Brunson in there with 5. Everybody who was on the floor had at least one or more, had at least one rebound. Everybody who participated on the floor.
yeah.
This is a category that is so much better developed than what it was last year. And
Yeah,
it's important.
and I love the fact that Josh Hart is grabbing those rebounds again. That's one of his specialties. Mitchell Robinson, we already know, can post up 20 if he really wanted to. So it's good to see them at on the floor. Look, it was not a bad game by the Knicks. The Knicks played very well. You know, look, they usually give up 130 points. They only gave up 109, so they're much better defensively in this game.
Against a hot team.
Yeah, and like I said, you have Embiid who nearly scored 40 on you. Like it's
Yep.
like again, the Sixers team is not like it's not a terrible team. Like again, they're creeping up on the standings. So the fact that they were able to do that, it was a a much better stretch of basketball that we've seen over the last month. And it's been pretty cool to watch the Knicks come together um, after their struggles.
Yeah. To Dan's point, Joel Embiid did score 38 in 36 minutes with 11
Mhm.
rebounds.
Yeah.
And something that I did not really expect, 3 from 5 from beyond the arc for the big guy.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's kind of impressive,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
also
He
put up
he
five
had
assists.
he has the touch. He has the touch
Eh,
to shoot from long range.
you just don't see it often. That's all. It's just
I know.
I
I
like it
know.
when a big guy,
Yeah.
when you see Wemby put up the three. I mean, it's funny looking, but when it goes in, it's all the more sweeter. Um, And the Knicks were lucky that, well, I don't know if you want to call it luck or just do that. Paul George finally had an off night, only going 3 from 10 from the field, did chip in 6 rebounds. But Tyrese Maxey is another player who
Yeah.
you just got to give credit where credit is due. Shot 50% from the floor, 3 from 7 from 3-point range, 6 assists, rebounds, 22 points in 38 minutes.
Yeah, and I know he tried to draw a foul at the end. He missed that that shot badly. It was an air ball that wasn't even close. Um, Max is another one that could kill the Knicks too. Like he's just another one of those players that, if he has to, he'll be an assassin. And yeah, he's tremendous. Sixers have it good. Like yeah, like I said, Philly, they're no one to play around with. So definitely something to watch as we're going through the season.
The Knicks will definitely meet the 76ers again, and the way they're playing, will possibly could be seeing them in the playoffs, but we're not gonna predict what's gonna be
Yeah.
in a couple of months right now.
Exactly.
But,
Well, for first thing first, still got to get through Boston. Who's on
yeah,
up. And then of course
before we're crowned champions, right?
yeah. Yeah, and that's the team like, once again that I'm really the most worried about. Um, I'm not really worried about Detroit. We all know Detroit's like unbelievable. Like, they're way up there. So, you know, um, yeah, good stuff.
Yeah. It was a great win for the New York Knicks, and they moved on last night and they played the Sacramento Kings, or who are anything but on the charts at all, at 12 and 36. But the Knicks in the beginning, got out hot with that
Mhm.
36-point first
Yeah,
quarter. Sorry, got
good score.
ding for the hockey fans. But then all of a sudden, 16, I mean, against the Kings. Maybe if it was against a much tougher opponent, I would say, okay, but 16 points in the second to basically keep this game close. And then obviously the third quarter, pretty much the same, but then the Knicks took over in the fourth. Game highs by Brunson with 28, but Bridges with 18, Anobi with 15, and Cat with 17. Wasn't a lot of the bench used in this game. Uh, McBride had a big night off the bench, 30 minutes, and Mitchell Robinson his normal 27. But this was a good win there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the Sacramento Kings, there's a reason why they're not a good team. 3-20 on the road, at this point. Like they're not a good team. So teams like the Kings you should be able to beat. I hated the 21 turnovers. That was rough to watch. It seemed like they were turning the ball over every possession, and
Yeah.
that's not something that you want to do, and everything. That really helped keep the Kings in the game. Then of course DeMar DeRozan with his 34 points, and he was killing it all night. Neck and neck after three. It was 72-72. So it was a tight night for the Knicks, but luckily they pulled through. They were able to kick their ass in the fourth quarter, beating them 31-15 in the fourth quarter to snatch their victory. It was an excellent, excellent, excellent fourth quarter that really helped get the win and much needed. Big thing in this game, Mark. Cat benched for the fourth quarter.
Yes. Yes. And you look, Carl Anthony Towns, let me give you that. I think he's everything he is.
Yeah.
My problem is the inconsistency in the points. If you can't rely on the points, you gotta change the rhetoric a little bit. And it was the right move. And the Knicks
Yeah,
still
look,
prevailed.
yeah, I apologize for cutting in, Mark.
No,
The bottom line is, even he said it after the game. He was like, "Look, we got the win, and that's all that matters." And I know that's him being a team player. He wants to be out there. He wants to play. If you're not performing well, and look, 17 points, iffy performance. It ain't gonna cut it. Like, and look, we already know Jalen Brunson's I know they keep saying 1A, 1B. We know Jalen Brunson's one, Cat's two. Like, let's call it like it is. You know,
Right.
if you're the number two guy, we're not gonna expect you to score like 50 points, but can you put up like 20? Can you put up like 25? Something to compliment Jalen Brunson, best scorer on your team. Like, come on now. And be more active on the floor, man. His antics, it can really annoy you at times. And look, that's just the experience with Karl Anthony Towns. The antics can really annoy you. Um,
Dan's right. Karl Anthony Towns is this superb player that the Knicks have. To me, I don't think Brown is as tough on him as he needs to be. And
yeah.
maybe last night, maybe is a little bit of saying, hey, look, you hear all the trade lines being floated around out there. Wake up. Now, a big difference in this game from last game, the Knicks did go 16 of 18 from the free throw lane, 89% beyond exceptional.
Yes.
That's what I mean, look, that's what it should be for every team who makes it to that point.
Yeah.
I understand you have a player like a Mitchell Robinson,
Yeah.
or you have a guy who's not your free throw guy, or, because he's so tall, he throws the ball at the rim instead of actually pushing it there.
Yeah. Well,
But still, no team should ever shoot below 85% from free throw.
even if it's like 70 to 75, again, I know that's not like ideal, but like, we can't keep having 50%, 60%, 40%. Like, no, it doesn't look good. We gotta make your free throws. Like they are super important. So anything that could be in the massive plus sign, 70, 80. Obviously, we prefer the 80s because that means you're making pretty much everything. Um, yeah.
Right. And from the 3-point range, 13 of 32 for 41%. Again, an
Much
uptick
better.
from last game. Brunson, 4 for 8.
Yeah.
But here's the other thing. Karl Anthony Towns should not be taking 8 3-pointers in a game, no matter what. I don't
Yeah.
care if it is eighth graders out there. Run them over. I don't care.
Yeah.
The big man himself should not be taking 8 3-point. One or two, maybe even three. Okay, maybe I can get behind that.
Mhm.
But that to me is the warning sign on this game. I mean, Miles McBride just didn't have it 1 for 6 from 3-point land, but
Yeah.
everybody else in one way or another. Josh Hart had a low-key game, but finished in every stat, including 3 steals, which is something we'll tell you is a higher stat than
I love Josh Hart.
most teams see on a normal time. Josh Hart might have only had 7 points, but he had 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals. I think he did. No, he did not have a block. Sorry, he did not have a
Yeah.
block. Uh,
Yeah, but his presence was definitely felt in this game.
right. And when Josh Hart is playing at that level,
Yeah.
you don't need, I mean, I hate to say it like this, you don't need to rely on Mitchell Robinson getting you 13 rebounds and Cat getting you 11. Yeah, it's a nice compliment, but everything works out the way it did, and the Knicks came away with a big win, you know, and the Knicks, are on their way. We're still in second place. But you can't take away from a little bit of what happened. The Kings, like Dan happened to point out, DeMar Rosen had 34. Precious Achiuwa, who came back to the Garden, had 6, drew a couple of fouls that he didn't like, but did have a nice night on the reboundings. Sabonis really wasn't a factor in my point. I think they did very well protecting him, and then pretty much nothing from anywhere else. And that's how it should be when you're playing the New York Knicks.
Yeah.
Um,
And look, this was a much better game than the last time they played the Kings on the road.
yes.
And of course we were very upset about that game because again the Kings are not very good. Like you should beat this team every single time. You know
Without question. I
Yeah.
mean, any team that is at this point doesn't have 15 or more wins or even 16 or more, there's a point where you can't take them seriously. Who's going to be the trade let goes in that team? We don't know. The Knicks will play tonight against the Toronto Raptors at 7:30. We will have coverage for you next week. But there's some other news on the forecast. You're not getting us just for two games. Come on, people. There's a lot of trade talk and around one name, and really one name only right now. And that's Giannis, and I cannot pronounce his last name. And that's for fine. We all know who I'm talking about, Giannis.
Yeah.
The problem I have right now is any team that's trading for Giannis is right now trading for damaged goods. As he went down with that cash strain, and they're not willing to give a timetable on it because, let's face it, they don't know. A strain is a strain. So they don't want to give a timetable because the trade deadline's creeping up.
Yeah.
And they don't want to tell teams, oh, he's not going to be ready to play for 4 to 6 weeks because teams' offers would be way down.
Mhm.
Giannis to the Knicks would be a dream scenario. Even Dan and I understand it, but not this season. I love this team's dynamic. Let's
Mhm.
not give away all these first round picks and Mikal Bridges for this. Dan, look, we both know Giannis, what he is, what he can do on a night, what other teams respect of him. I don't think he belongs here right now.
First things first, the Knicks don't have the capital or any type of offer to get Giannis. Like Giannis is going to be pretty expensive. A lot of draft picks and, you know, a lot of money, all that stuff. Because if you're going to get Giannis, you're not getting him as a rental. You're getting him for long term. He is eligible for the Supermax starting next year, which is big. So the Knicks are going to have to commit to him long term. The Knicks don't have the best offer for that. That's just the reality of the situation. And look, I know a lot of Knicks fans want him. Um, I'll take him at the right price. The Knicks don't have the right price. I'm just calling it like it is.
Mm.
Um, if the Knicks really want Giannis, I would wait for the offseason and see what you can get in the offseason. Offseason trade and see what it looks like. Other than that, the Bucks have to do what they got to do for them. They got to protect themselves. Look, they're trading the best player that they've had in a long time in their franchise. Like one of the greatest players to ever play in that franchise, Milwaukee Bucks. So it's it's they're gonna have to find a way to make it work if it is the Knicks. And look, Giannis has the right to be like, hey, look, I want the Knicks. Make it work. Like it certainly is his right. Is whether or not um it's whether or not the Bucks wanted like it's a tricky situation. If I'm the Knicks, I wouldn't worry about it till the offseason. And look, if Giannis ends up going somewhere else, just like Mark said, I think it's a blessing in disguise. I want to run it back and try it with this team. I know Cat is annoying. I know he is. And look, he is the guy that would be, you know, shocked in a
Most
situation
likely.
like this. The Knicks have also come out and said they don't want to shop Cat. So, like, this is where we are. Like, the Knicks team that you're seeing right now is most likely going to be the team you're going to see throughout the rest of the season.
And that's how it should be. I mean, I do agree with Dan that, yeah, if in the off season you can swing something, fine. But it's not going to. I think Dan used the right word is capital, is the Knicks really don't have it. Yes,
Yeah.
Giannis is available for the Supermax and whatnot, but I think Dan also made another good point in if the Bucks find another partner
Yeah.
that will get them better than whatever the Knicks can get, then you do that.
Yeah,
Not just for the sake of the team, but the sake of your fans and you to have your organization be believed in. If you
exactly.
give Giannis away for Russell Westbrook, I mean, it's not going to happen. It's going to be the biggest sweeping deal
Yeah.
probably ever.
And that's the reality. Look, the Knicks put themselves in a tough spot. If they look, we didn't realize that Giannis was gonna want out of Milwaukee. So they put themselves in a tough spot trading all those draft picks to Brooklyn to get Mikal Bridges. And like that's just it. If we didn't get Bridges and we still had those draft picks, it would look more appealing to trade for him. But we're not there yet.
No. And this, yes, we had that, as you heard us last week, we had that 4 game losing streak. And Dan pointed out that Brunson called a team only meeting, player only meeting. Since that meeting, they've shot better, they've
Mhm.
passed better, they've used whatever they had to do. And it was shown mostly in that 76ers game. I really don't count what they did to the Kings any much more than what they're expected to do. Toronto will be a real tough test. Toronto's a good basketball team,
Mhm. Yeah.
and they'll play them tonight. And we'll see if this Knicks team is ready.
Yeah, look, I mean the Raptors and Knicks are pretty much neck and neck. Like they're right on top of each like right there.
They're 1 game. They're
Like
literally 1 game.
literally,
That's the difference.
technically, virtually speaking, they're tied. The Knicks have
Well,
less losses, so
yeah.
but yeah.
All I can say, this is a true test right here. This is going to be, it's going to be a great game. The only problem I have with it, it's in Canada. It's not at the Garden,
Yeah,
But you need the hometown crew for this game.
exactly. And look, the Raptors have won 4 straight, so they're on a streak too. So it's gonna be a tough matchup for them for
Right.
sure.
For the Knicks, no blowout is can happen. They cannot get blown out.
No.
They can blow out Toronto, but they just
Mhm.
can't get blown out.
Yeah. I think
Uh,
this is gonna be a close game.
It's going to be a fun game. It's a popcorn game, definitely. I know I'm
Yeah.
taking that from
There
Terrell Owens, from football. Well,
you go.
that's for the Sunday.
Throw it onto your face, Mark. Throw all the popcorn.
Get that popcorn going.
Yeah.
That is going to be it here for the Six Man Up on the Sports Insanity Network. Please follow us at www.thesportsinsanitynetwork.com. Danny Boy Reginald, where on the socials can they find us?
At S Insanity Real, X and Facebook. Search Sports Standing Network as well. And then, of course, if you like what you see, and why wouldn't you? This content's great. Subscribe to our channel. That button's there for notifications. Hit all so you can know when we go live, when something gets posted. Um, Halpern does a great series called The One of One. He does a bunch of these card breaks. I don't know when the next one is, but Dugout Millwood will definitely be there with you. Um,
Absolutely. This network is growing
yeah,
faster and faster. 2026 is going to be a big year for this network.
yeah.
And if you like what you see, Dan told you, just hit that bell, baby. And the more of us you'll get to see. And if you don't want to see us, too bad. We're going to be here for a long time coming. Got to have a little
Mhm.
fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
Uh,
we got the
we,
Super Bowl coming up, so stay tuned for notifications on the network page and on the X page for when we'll be live for Super Bowl. No, it will not be a 6 hour marathon like it was 5 years ago. No, we will have that notification for you. We will be getting ready. Well, we're already ready. We're just waiting for football to get out of the way. Baseball's coming back, baby. That means Batters Up is going to be returning live
mhm,
Sundays and weekdays, and nobody's ready to talk more baseball than us. Because let's
mhm.
face it, the Mets are back at the top while the Yankees are going to be down at the bottom.
Well, I mean, look, the Mets, the Mets at least, they're They're trying to make a difference. Yankees made no difference. Like, you know,
Just a little fun jabbing at my good Yankee PIC. We do this all
but
the year
I
round.
look, well, are you wrong?
No, unfortunately not. I
You're
know I'm
not.
right.
The Mets look instantly better after this offseason. And I know,
Yes. Look,
and we'll get into all that and when
yeah, we
batting
will.
starts.
Don't worry. The
Yeah.
depression episode from me and Mike will be posting. Don't worry. But
Yeah.
for all of us out here at the network, please, if you're on the East Coast, navigate safely during those roads.
Yeah.
Watch out for next
Can
weekend.
this
Hopefully, we will not see a repeat.
can the sun just get hot so hot that it can just
Just
get
melts it all. We'll
you know
take a 119-degree day right
like
now.
God, it is horrible navigating in the snow, man.
Ugh.
Terrible.
So, if you're on the East Coast, please navigate safely. If you're in the middle of the country, put on your ice skates and skate around. If you're on the West Coast, sit back with your suntan lotion.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Must be nice.
For all of us here at the network, Mark Oldot, Sky Halpern, Danny Boy Ryan, we'll catch you next week.
Bye.